Hello, darlings. You've all heard of Marilyn Monroe. Some of you know Bridget Bardot. Well, now it's time for the Cognac Show. I said cognac, ooh, ooh. I said cognac, ooh, ooh, ooh. I'm up.
Take me home tonight. I don't let you go.
Hello, darlings. Welcome back. I'm Cognac Wellerlane, and I am here with director Mr. John Blenn of this fabulous production, this new musical that's playing at Madison Theater at Molloy College, and it's called 2 Tickets to Paradise. And Mr. Blenn is going to tell my audience how he became involved in this production. Tell my audience, why did you get involved and how did you get involved?
Well, I originally started with this particular production in 2009. I directed it the first time when it was done in Dix Hills at the Five Towns College. And Eddie had come to me with the play via a friend named Gordon McKay, who was a producer attached at the time, and Gordon had been a writer of mine. When I was at Good Times Magazine back in the 1980s, he started out in the business writing for me. And he called me up and he said that Eddie had written a play and would I be interested in looking at it, because I had done about 60 plays out here on the island myself before that. And even though I hadn't done musicals before, I said, yeah, I'd be very much interested in looking at it. Eddie and I had about a 30-year history because I was a journalist for many years. So
Yes, I heard about that.
I had interviewed him back in like 1985, and we had...
Long time ago.
Yeah, crossed paths quite a bit over the years, and I was the general manager at Westbury Music Fair for 4 years, and he played there a couple of times when I was the GM there. So we kept crossing paths, and we had a professional friendship up until that point. And when I saw it, I was really impressed by Eddie's writing on the play.
So he wrote this himself?
Completely. And
Wow.
he also wrote original songs for it that weren't in his catalog.
Yeah, I heard that there's 7 new songs that will be premiering at this production.
There certainly is, and he wrote songs that drove the storyline of the plot like you would see in any classic Broadway musical. So he really put a lot of thought into it, and he obviously worked most of his hits into it. Eddie has the unique problem on doing a musical like this, and the fact that he has so many hits, there's not enough room for all of them.
Do you have a favorite of all of his songs?
I think probably my favorite songs by Eddie are actually 2 of them, ironically, that are not in it because they're not huge hits of his. But he had a song called The Wish, which was on his Playing for Keeps album. And he had another song called The Life for the Taking, which was on his second album that he put out. It was the title track, which are very both deep, emotional tunes that kind of connected to me at the times that I heard them. But I mean, I was a fan of Eddie's all the way back to his first album when it came out on Columbia Records, and saw him at the Nassau Coliseum the first time he played there, touring with Meatloaf on his very first tour. So I've always had that connection to Eddie, and being a Long Islander like he is, I grew up in East Meadow. He grew up in Island Trees area of Levittown, so we're neighboring towns. I have a brother who's 10 years older than I am, which makes him exactly Eddie's age. My father was a Nassau County cop. His father was in New York City.
Oh, that is funny. That is hysterical. So the camaraderie starts from all the way back and the similarities in both your lives.
Absolutely, and I think also in the fact that my father, like his father, both wanted us to go into like civil service or follow in their footsteps as police officers, and both of our mothers said, you know, you want to be artistic, you want to go into the arts, you follow your dreams, you go do it.
Yeah, I didn't have that though. I was like very similar to Eddie. I come from a very old-fashioned Italian family, and I wanted to be a movie star. And they said, no, you know, only Brutanas do that. Get married and have babies.
When I was in my 20s, I was a screenwriter in college, and I wanted to do that. And then finally now in my 50s, I have a film in development besides working on this project.
Oh yeah, tell us about the film a little bit.
It's called George Bailey. It's about 8 friends who went to college together to become actors or work in the television or movie profession, and they all kind of didn't follow their dreams with one exception. And as they're about to turn 50, they kind of come up with the realization that you hit that point in your life, you either chase your dreams or you don't. And they decide to go make their own independent film, and that's in development. We'll probably start shooting later this year. And
that sounds wonderful.
And actually, when I turned 50, I directed this play for the first time, working with Eddie. So you never know when your opportunities are going to come. Out here on the island, we've done about 80 projects. It's called Middle Class American Productions, and we just do original works. And that was the thing that also really kind of enticed me about working with Eddie, was that this was a brand new piece that nobody had ever seen before. I loved the music, I loved working with him, and go out and do something that had never been done before. That's much more appealing to me than trying to be the next great Dorothy from The Wizard of Oz, or, do the stage version of The King and I. That's been done a lot. It's been done by very good actors. It will continue to be done by very good actors, but I'm always drawn to doing brand new things.
Tell my audience, where can we go to find out more information about obtaining 2 tickets to Paradise?
Well, they can certainly contact the Madison Theater at Molloy College. They have a wonderful website there. The theater's been there about 4 years. It's a very new theater. It's a beautiful space. They do a wonderful job doing shows in there. I was in there to see Joan Jett do a great show, and I was in there for the Long Beach International Film Festival.
Oh, I went to that. It was a lot of fun.
It's a wonderful space. So
It certainly is.
To be able to get in there.
Now, how long is the show going to be at the Madison Theater?
The plan is just to do the 5 shows on it right now. We eventually will move it to Broadway.
I can't wait.
Neither can we. We'd like to be able to do this.
I can't wait. I will definitely go to your Broadway premiere. That I will definitely go to. I'm anticipating that. And boy, this is a terrific play. I wish you all the luck in the world. And as we say in show business, break a leg. Mr. Blenn, Mr. John Blenn, I want to thank you so much for this wonderful interview and this opportunity. Would you give me a kiss goodbye?
Absolutely. Thanks for having me.
And we'll be back in a moment, darlings. More interviews coming up. Keep watching Pink Champagne Kisses. Hello, darlings. Welcome back. I'm Cognac Wellerlane, and I am here with legendary rocker, Mr. Eddie Money. Tell my audience a little bit more about this production and why you decided to do it. Now, I understand you wrote it as well.
Yes, I did. Well, I'll tell you the truth. I have a very interesting life because I'm the son of a New York City policeman. My dad was a cop. My grandfather was a cop. It's like growing up in New York. If your father's a painter, your son's a painter. It's that kind of thing. And I grew up in a very kind of a strict Irish Catholic loving background. And it's all about, really, when I was in high school, I was in the rock band, the very popular rock band, and it was all about wanting to grow your hair long.
Yes, darling, I came from that era. I know all about it.
And I just really wanted to. I was singing really good, but there was no such thing in those days as being a rock star like the Beatles or the Rolling Stones if you didn't have long hair. And I was really, I was torn between the fact I went on the police department because my brother was in Vietnam at the time, and my mother wanted me to have an occupational deferment. Well, it didn't make any difference.
Back in those days, I mean, my parents too, my Italian, coming from an old-fashioned Italian family, they wanted me to become a secretary, get married, have babies. They didn't want me to be a movie star. That's what I wanted to be. You wanted to be a rock star, and I wanted to be a movie star.
And here we are.
And here we are today. You've achieved your dream of becoming the rock star. And I interview very, very famous people.
Yeah, you were told about that. I've seen your show, and I'm very fond of it. I thank you so much for having me on it.
Oh, I appreciate you coming aboard and talking to me about this new production. But, your life was so tenacious. You've done so many different wild things. How hard was it for you to rebel against your family's ideas of you becoming a cop and, starting this rock career?
Well,
was it really difficult for you?
It was, to me, I found out the best way to date the pretty chicks in high school, if you were too skinny to play football, is be in the rock band.
2 Tickets to Paradise is also one of your hits. Why did you name it that? Was it your favorite number that...
Well, when I first started writing songs, I wrote a lot of tunes, but when I really started getting serious about it, I wrote 2 Tickets to Paradise, and everybody identifies my career with 2 Tickets to Paradise. That and songs like Shakin'. But 2 Tickets, you think of 2 Tickets to Paradise or you think of Eddie Money, it goes hand in hand. I've done commercials about it. It's been a big part of my repertoire.
Is it your most favorite?
No, it's
famous
actually not-
song?
It's not really. Take Me Home Tonight was very
That's the one I love.
great. And of course, Baby Hold On was big. And,
Yeah, that's true too. But tell my audience, why did you write that song, Take Me Home Tonight? What inspired you to write that song?
Well, I think that's a great song because if you think about it, it's got two choruses in it. It's got Take Me Home Tonight, I Want to Let You Go. And then the second chorus was Ronnie Spector's big hit, Be My Little Baby.
Be My Little Baby,
with a
yeah.
really catchy first part of a chorus, and they play that song when everybody leaves clubs all over the country. To this date, most of the clubs you go to, they're playing Take Me Home Tonight.
I know.
which is-
That's why I love it. Did you know that was going to be a hit the way it is, and that people still played that song in the clubs before everybody goes home? Did you know that was really going to happen?
I had a feeling it was going to happen.
So you're psychic too.
I don't know if I'm psychic, but putting Ronnie Spector in the video was a great idea, and it was really a fantastic video. And my record label was Columbia Records. They were really behind the song. Yeah. And Bill Graham, he was a rock impresario. He was into the tune, and it just, exploded. It revitalized my career. Not that my career was falling apart, but
it made it even bigger and better.
it was bigger and better. And people, when you write a great song like that, you put it in the set list. And when you do your shows live, having songs like that and Want to Go Back and Walk on Water. I mean, it's everybody. They remember. Oh, he wrote that song. He had that song. A lot of people don't realize that I had like 14 or 15 songs in the top 100.
Oh my God!
That's a lot of
Do you still keep in touch with Ronnie Spector?
Yes, I do. Her and her husband, Jonathan, I talk to her every once in a while. She's such a great lady, and I'm very fond of the way she sings. I've always been, actually, she learned how to sing. She's from Bedford-Stuyvesant in Brooklyn, and her mentor was Frankie Lyman, from Frankie Lyman and the Teenagers. They were from the same apartment complex. And he taught Frank, and what do fools fall in? He was a great singer. And you could hear a lot of that in Ronnie Spector. And it's very interesting to know. But Ronnie's great. And she's got a heart of gold. The first thing that she did when she got on the Rock and Roll Hall of Fame, on TV and everywhere, was thank me for revitalizing her career. She didn't have to say that or do that. She's just a real sweetheart. I brought her back into the limelight. She got the bug back. And
You're a sweetheart. You are a
I
sweetheart.
wish my wife was a fan.
I want to ask you also about this production, this musical production. I understand that a portion of the proceeds from the sale of the tickets will be donated to a very worthy charity. Tell my audience all about that.
Well, thank you so much, Connie. I'm so glad you brought that up because we are supporting the Intrepid Fallen Hero Fund.
Yeah, what is that all about?
It's a nonprofit. That's a non-political charitable organization. They have two facilities, one in San Antonio with about 110 beds, and I'm excited to say they just built another facility this year in Maryland with about 130 beds. It's for these kids. I shouldn't say kids, but men and women coming back in uniform from all over the world with head trauma injuries, whether it be psychological or, getting banged up in a tank, it's like, we do everything we can I'm very much into supporting these veterans of mine because I'm not saying that the country doesn't care about our veterans, but I just really feel like that people should be more aware of the fact that how much they do and how much, that we'd be lost without a strong armed
They
service.
devote their lives to saving us and making us free.
Yes, and I run into a lot of parents on the road, and I run into a lot of veterans, and I feel like, the least we can do with the Intrepid Fallen Hero Fund, you can go to the website and donate if you like.
What's the website?
That would be www.Intrepid Fallen Hero Fund. And you can go there and donate. But just come down to the show, and we're selling T-shirts at the show.
And that'll have all the information?
Yes, and a portion of that will also go to our vets.
Tell my audience, where can we go to find out more information about Eddie Money? What's the website?
Thank you, Cognac. I'm at eddiemoney.com. And, of course, I think you can go to the MolloyTheater.com for ticket information for the play this weekend and the following weekend. And, Cognac, I want to thank you so much for having me on the show. And I want to thank Helen, who plays my mother. And we would also like to thank Matt Burns for doing this. And a very good friend of mine, a great production manager and director. And he's also everybody's psychiatrist. I'm talking about John Glenn. And we're going to give you guys a great show this weekend.
You are the best.
Thank you,
I
Connie.
love you. Give me a kiss.
Okay, baby.
Mwah. And we'll be back in a moment, darlings. More interviews coming up. Keep watching. Pink Champagne Kisses.
This has been a Crybaby Productions, darlings.